This Pokemon movie was almost banned for being too confusing. I uncovered the one hidden plot detail that makes the entire story finally make sense. What they never explained about Giratina's rage will change how you see this film forever. You have to watch until the end to finally understand the real reason everything happened. So the movie opens like, hey, let's pretend this is a normal Pokemon film, and we see Ash and the crew doing their regular wandering around like they don't have school routine. But then we cut over to Shaman just vibing in the grass like a woodland influencer. She finds a cute little pond, goes for a sip, and then Dialga just spawns in like, time god needs hydration too. Man said managing temporal reality is exhausting, let me drink my water in peace. But right when Dialga bends over to get that sip, Giratina decides today is the perfect day for hands. No hello, no dialogue, just uppercut the time dragon. Giratina comes out the mirror dimension like, I saw what you did to my house, and lunges at Dialga. Shaman, who is literally 2 feet away, is like, oh, cool, legendary warfare. I did not sign up for this. She gets caught in the wind blast and ends up on Dialga's tail like she bought a backstage pass to a fight she didn't want. Giratina drags Dialga toward the reverse world like, you thought you weren't going to pay for wrecking my dimension? Dialga tries to dip, but Giratina's got that no come back, we're not done energy. We are not even 5 minutes into the movie and 2 gods are already squabbling. Peak cinema. Shaman, being very done with all of this, pops off Seed Flare like a panic button. That thing blows a hole back to the real world and she gets yeeted out. Dialga's like, oh bet, doors open, and also tries to leave, but Giratina's like, nope, only one of y'all escaping today. Dialga manages to slide out right before the portal closes, and Giratina goes to follow, but he can't. Man is stuck in the reverse world, like someone whose card got declined at the multiverse checkout. So now we've got Giratina, trapped in the reverse world, mad. Dialga escaped. Shaman got blown into the regular world like a leaf in rainy season. Cut back to Ash and the gang, who are about to eat like they didn't just cause 6 region-level events last week. And Ash, bro is about to dig in with hands that look like he just changed the oil on a Wailord. Dawn's like, sir, if my mom had seen me come to the table like that, I'd have been Flash, stepped into cleanliness. Then out of nowhere, Shaman shows up like, yo food, and just starts eating. No intro, no hello, no thanks for saving me from the worm dimension, just straight to plate. That causes a mess, they wash her up, and they realize she's kind of sick, so they rush her to Nurse Joy. Nurse Joy heals her, and Shaman wakes up like, healed? Me? You know, I'm Shaman, right? The gratitude Pokemon? I don't need fixing, I am the fix. Extremely ungrateful for a healing type Pokemon, but okay diva. In between all the attitude, she tells them what her actual mission is. She has to get to the flower garden, the special field of Grace Idea flowers, so she can change form and go where she's supposed to go. Cool. That's the quest. But then Team Rocket is like, oh word, mythical Pokemon? And instantly snatches her. And Giratina, who has AirPods in and is still hunting Shaman because he thinks she can bust open that portal again, shows up and also grabs people. Ash and Dawn get sucked into the reverse world like it's Tuesday. Now they're in this space where everything looks like someone mirrored reality in Photoshop. Giratina pulls up, and Pikachu does what Pikachu always does in movies. Thunderbolt first, ask questions, never. Except this is Giratina. That's like throwing a battery at a kaiju. Piplup actually lands a hit, which really just tells us that Giratina was too busy being mad at Dialga to care about these kids. Then this old researcher guy appears like, hey, don't make him angrier. This is Newton Graceland, the I've been studying the reverse world for 5 years guy. Bro has been living in the distortion realm with a ghost dragon centipede for half a decade like that's a normal sabbatical. He explains how the reverse world works. Basically, it's connected to what happened earlier when Palkia and Dialga fought in another city and messed up the space-time vibes, and Giratina was like, whose mess is this? And took it personally. So now he hates Dialga for cosplaying as a wrecking ball. Honestly, Palkia should have been the one paying rent for damages, but Giratina saw Dialga first, so that's who's catching smoke. Anyway, Giratina finds Shaman again. Shaman pulls a substitute move like lol got you, and Ash and Dawn manage to bail back to the normal world. Team Rocket? Yeah, they stay losing. Back in the real world, the gang is still on Shaman babysitting duty, and they run into the actual villain of the movie, but the movie wants to be mysterious about him. So I'm gonna call him white-haired, I take this personally guy for a second. He's actually Zero, but we don't learn that immediately. He wants Giratina's power, because of course he does. Pokemon movies love a guy whose personality is, I'm mad at legendary Pokemon because of this one research incident. The group tries to escape on a train, because nothing says we're running from a ghost dragon, like public transport. On the train, someone brings out Grace Idea flowers and Shaman's like, say less, and transforms into sky form, glowing, elegant, literally does a Sailor Moon transformation. Now she can fight, and she does. Right on cue, Goons show up, basically robot Pokemon Magnezone, Magnemite type ops, and this time, because Skyform Shaman can actually scrap, she, Pikachu, and Piplup basically wipe them like it's a gym minigame episode. They beat them so clean, I was like, oh, so you can fight when you want to. Then they get on a boat to go to the flower field. And I don't care what anyone says, that scene where they're traveling through the mountains and water toward the Grace Idea field, beautiful. That was the animator saying, we did not phone this in. Meanwhile, we finally get more on Zero, the white-haired dude. Turns out he and Newton used to work together. Newton was like, maybe capturing and torturing legendary Pokemon so we can control dimensions is bad. And Zero was like, nah, I'm gonna do it anyway because I'm the version of you that didn't develop empathy. So now Zero wants Giratina's power for himself to basically control the reverse world. Portal opens, Giratina comes back, and Shaman in full, I talk too much for someone who almost died mode is like, okay Giratina, let's run it. She starts blasting Energy Ball at Giratina like she forgot he is literally a Dimension Dragon. Pikachu helps, they actually land a few hits, but it's not doing much. Then the sun goes down and Shaman reverts to land form like Cinderella at 12. 1, now she's weak, Giratina locks on again, and things get worse. They run back to Newton, but Zero pulls up like, remember me? The guy you didn't respect? Time to monologue. This is where we finally learn. His name is Zero, which is so funny because he really does have zero chill, zero friends, and 0 wins lined up. Zero's plan is so on brand for a Pokemon villain. Release toxic gas so Shaman panics and uses Seed Flare to open portals, then use that opening to trap Giratina and steal his dimension power. Anyway, Zero actually captures Giratina using a machine based on Newton's own research. And Newton's like, dang, so this is what I get for publishing. He decides, okay, I gotta undo this because I'm not gonna let my science get used to torture a legendary. So he goes into Zero's ship and starts hacking it from the inside. Honestly, I was expecting a whole hacking duel, but the movie was like, nope, Newton wins. Moving on, Shaman gets back her sky form thanks to being near the Grace Idea flowers again. Ash and Dawn go on rescue duty. Brock, as usual, is just not invited to the main plot. Man was in the same movie, but spiritually in another one. They really said, Brock, hold the bags. Outside, Shaman is beating up the Magnezone and Magnemite robots like it's target practice. Inside, Newton shuts down the system and frees Giratina. Zero's like, hey, I stole that, give it back. But bro, you had it for like 8 minutes. That's not a victory, that's a trial period. Then the ship starts crashing. Giratina falls into a lake, everyone thinks he's dead, but Shaman uses aromatherapy healing pollen to help him recover. Giratina's like, good looks. But Zero's not done being annoying. He steals Giratina's power and goes into the reverse world himself, using his flying machine thing, and starts attacking the real world from the reverse world. This man said, if I can't have this dimension, nobody can. All the chaos affects the glaciers mountains in the real world, and now there's this giant moving glacier giving warning to bulldoze the whole area. Dawn sends out a Pokemon that is very much not built for stopping a mountain, but she tried, so we'll allow it. Giratina goes back in. Ash goes with him, because Ash stays doing cross-dimensional parkour, and now they're battling Zero in that mirror-looking world. Meanwhile, because every legendary wants screen time, Regigigas wakes up like, who touched my ice? Nobody called him, his name wasn't even on the poster. But he shows up anyway and calls out a bunch of Mamoswine like, hey, hold that glacier. It kind of works, but barely. Back in the reverse world, Giratina is getting cooked by his own stolen power, which is embarrassing. Zero is firing attacks, Giratina dodges and hits back with Aura Sphere. Yes, it looks like Aura Sphere. You can fight me, and Ash and Shaman are chipping in, doing like 3 damage each, but contributing to morale. Finally, Shaman absorbs the toxic clouds, the same one Zero used earlier, so it doesn't destroy the real world. Giratina slams Zero's machine, fries his data, and basically takes his power back. Zero gets absolutely humbled twice. Ash and Giratina do the whole fix the distortion so real world and reverse world match again routine. The glacier stops, Regigigas goes "Ike cool," and sits back down for another 0 years, and Giratina, who was mad this entire movie, finally calms down. And that's basically the movie. All of this started because Palkia and Dialga were fighting somewhere else. Giratina was like, who broke my ceiling? Shaman got dragged into it by accident. Zero wanted power, that wasn't his. Newton had to clean up his old science. Ash almost died in another dimension again. Brock had no clue what was going on. Roll credits. So now you know the real story behind the most confusing plot. Tell me which character you think was the true villain of the movie. Let me know which legendary Pokemon you believe caused the entire conflict. Share your own theory explaining the reverse world in the comments below. Follow for more breakdowns that finally make sense of the most complicated anime movies.